Hello and welcome to our garage gym. I just thought we'd have a little change of scenery today and hopefully hide from my kids and the snoring dog because I just can't think straight with all the noise and the chaos, but hopefully they don't join us in a minute. Let's make this quick. We are going to talk about our rehab or recovery basket. Essentially, it's just a place in our home that we keep our basket full of things for muscle recovery. It's injury prevention type things. Anyways, I've talked about them on Instagram. I wanted to share them a little bit more in depth today, individually, kind of how we use them, and hopefully help you guys stay injury free as well. All right, before we get into all of these items that we're going to talk about today, I just want to say I am not a doctor and I'm not trying to give you any kind of health advice. Please, if you have been injured or you're struggling with some type of a pain, see a professional in the field first. But these are things that if you've been to a chiropractor and you might have seen some of these things before, this is where you can get them affordably. And you might have just not realized like, oh, I could actually buy that for my house. Yeah, I want to get it too. Like, we're going to talk about an ice pack in a minute. I didn't know we would always use them at the physical therapist, and I didn't know that we could buy one for ourselves and use it on a regular. So I'm not a doctor. This is my disclaimer. Please don't take my advice as professional seeking opinion. But I am a mom that has dealt with a lot of injuries. We have dealt with broken bones, plantar fasciitis. I have a tennis elbow situation going on right now. My husband's been through a series of things. We've had a lot of issues. So we've worked through them. We're in good places right now. And I feel like these are the things that actually work. So let's move on. Let's dig in. All right, we're gonna start off talking about our Hydro Gun. This is the most amazing percussion tool that we've found. We had one of the original prototypes and it was so incredibly loud, super obnoxious, and yeah, now they've come a long way, I will say that. And so this is the Hydro Gun. There's so many on the market. This one just has a button in the center that you just hold down until it turns a color, white. And then you'll see it starts to go and increase in intensity the more you push it, which on this one, it actually has numbers. So I can see that I'm at level 3 right now and it goes to 6. And hear how quiet it is? It's so nice. So this we just use on our muscles. I like to use them before I go running to kind of wake up my sleeping muscles. The boys like to use them when they're sore. Use this whenever they're sore. You can just go over your muscles pretty quickly without a lot of compression. And yeah, it just basically sends blood flow through your muscles. I can't talk today. It's gonna be one of those days. And I knew it was gonna be one of those days before I started filming, but you know what? We're gonna make it work. But okay, so we use it for sore muscles. It helps just create some blood flow through the muscles and helps speed up recovery. There's different tool attachments you can use. I'm not gonna go into too much detail into each item here today, but because that would take forever. But I just kind of want to give you an idea of what these are used for and how to use them. There's different attachments, like I said. There's this one. There's some really crazy tools. I like to use this one on like the arms or on the shin, just kind of like nicely goes to the shape of your body. But so many attachments. Can't say enough good things about a Hydro Gun. If you don't have one, get one. They are amazing. You will not regret it. I had one client that didn't really know if she wanted to spend the money because they're not the cheapest item. This is probably one of the bigger ticket items that we're going to talk about today, but she started doing a lot of running and I let her borrow mine and she's like, you know what? Yeah, I have to have one of these. It is a game changer for recovery. Okay, next up is the cold pack. It looks kind of funky because you can tell how it's been sitting out and it's pretty muggy outside right now today. But this is the ice pack of your dreams, I promise you. We were introduced to this from our friend that's a physical therapist. We go to them for some chiropractor work and some physical therapy. And he swears by this one because it can wrap around your joint really well, your entire knee, really great for over the shoulder. And I don't know, it's just like, it goes to the shape of your body, which a lot of them don't. They're just too hard or too small. So you're having to refreeze it. If you just do like a portion of your shoulder, then you're having to freeze it again and then move it. Whereas you can just, boom, put this on you. That's very cold. for 30 minutes and then place it back in the freezer for 30 minutes and put it back on, depending on what your situation is. But typically, if you're injured, you're gonna want it to put the ice pack on you for 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, freeze it, so take off for 30 minutes, and then put it back on, and doing that as frequently as possible, at least for the initial like 48 hours after your injury. So this ice pack has been amazing, and we love it so much, and it's very affordable. It's on Amazon. What we typically do is we don't put it directly on your skin. You'd want to put this in like an old pillowcase or something, and then you could lay it over your skin. And pillowcases are nice and thin, so it doesn't take away so much of the coldness like a towel would. There's not so much material in between the ice pack and your skin with a pillowcase. So that is a pro tip for you. Okay, next up, let's talk about Trigger Point Therapy. This is a brand that looks like this. I have to hide my face, maybe. There we go. Trigger Point Therapy. This is a brand that I was introduced to years ago, and I immediately signed up to do their like a course to learn exactly how to use everything. And if you are interested in deep tissue myofascial release, these are the tools that you're going to need. And if you would like me to do a video training on what I had learned with them, I'll be more than happy to do a video on that, because there's a lot to learn, and it's really good. When it comes to tight muscles, you might feel like you have an injury when, like, you know, you feel like a lot of pain in your knee. I have found that if I can just loosen up those muscles surrounding my knee, pain is gone, and it's not even a situation. So I'd be happy to do a video on that if that's something you're interested in. So just comment below and let me know. But Trigger Point Therapy is, they have a ton of different tools. This one's really funky looking. It's got like rollerblades, old school rollerblades on the end of them, but it's called a quad ball and or quad roller. And this one is super intense. I will say you want to be careful going too hard, too fast when it comes to foam rolling. And this one would be pretty intense. This is for you guys that have been foam rolling for a long time and might not feel like it's getting as deep as you want it to go whenever you're foam rolling. I would try the quad roller. There's a set that comes with all these tools, and here's another one. These are actually two, I believe, lacrosse balls that are wrapped in a fabric, and they just go into this sack, which you can use for a number of things, but I like to put them in there together and roll them up and down the outer muscles on my back, outer muscles of your spine. I mean, these are amazing, but you could take them out, and you can also just roll certain parts of your back. We like to use these on our feet, especially after like a lot of running. And so plantar fasciitis, this is another thing that I use for plantar fasciitis, which I dealt with years ago. And that is just like rolling out your arch, because a lot of times those muscles in your arch get really tight. This one we use all the time, but going back to what I was saying about just being careful to start too fast, too soon, this is an advanced roller. You can see it's red on the inside. This is the Grid X roller. There's also this one, which is their OG original roller. It's a lot softer. If you're at the store looking at these, then you can feel the difference. You can feel how this one's much more softer, and then this one's kind of like a rolling pin, very hard. Again, start with something softer, get familiar with the foam roller. It's a much more enjoyable experience, a lot less bruising. And then if you are really advanced, I would really suggest getting the Grid X, because you will get to a point where you just don't really feel like this is doing anything for you anymore. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. My eyelash itches. Okay. Next up is very obvious, heating pad. You have to have a heating pad. For most injuries, when it comes to your joints, you're going to be wanting to ice. But if you have really tight muscles, then I would suggest a heating pad before stretching. So a lot of times what I probably use this for the most, I would say, is either like tight backs, if any of us have a really tight lower back, or if I'm going to stretch out my sons, which I do a lot of partner stretching with them, I have them heat up their muscles first with a heating pad. They just lay on it for a good 20 minutes or so. And yeah, good old heating pad. We talked about the ice pack earlier. This is another one we have. Again, you just have to find ice packs that are gonna go around joints. So if you don't have a situation where it's your entire shoulder, get one of these. They really super affordable. You just unscrew the top. I'm assuming that you know what this is. You unscrew the top, put the ice in. I usually put like just a little bit of water in there too, and make sure it's sealed really good. These can leak sometimes. That's why I like packs better than some stuff like this. You just have to be careful to make sure that it doesn't leak. But once it's filled with ice, you can scrunch it whatever shape you need to, and you can put it wherever it needs to go. All right, and this stretching band, you guys, another thing that I just realized is constantly used in physical therapy. Why aren't I using this with my clients and on myself? I need to be using this myself. So I ordered one and don't regret it at all. We just talked about the heating pack. This is something else you could do, is to heat the muscles up if this is going to be not a workout day, it's just an off day, or say you're struggling with really tight hamstrings. This is just an example. Heating up your hamstrings, making sure that those muscles are really warm, because you don't want to stretch cold muscles. You can lay on your back, loop this over your foot like so, and just straighten out your leg. And you're laying on your back, just holding that leg out straight and letting that muscle finally relax and elongate. And I like these guys because this is gonna be really funny. You can just loop your hands through at whatever point that you're at. You need a longer stretch back here just to get that leg really straight. So many things you can do with this. Again, I'd be happy to do a video on just all the stretches that you can do. If you're someone that struggles with stretching, you just don't enjoy it, you get bored really quickly, or you just skip it, I would really suggest getting one of these and setting a timer and going through. It comes with a little booklet, so you'll see a booklet of all these different stretches. I would just play around with them. I think this could hold you accountable to stretching a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna get into some of these like serums that we use. This is a magnesium oil. Crazy, amazing health benefits when it comes to magnesium oil. This has aloe vera in it as well. It's very watery. This is by Raise Them Well, a company that I've been working with since Zoe was born, because everything is so natural, so clean. You can use it on your newborn babies, pretty much everything. And it's developed by a physician, but we just use this on the bottoms of her feet and sometimes her spine before she goes to bed. And it could be a placebo effect, but I really believe that it does help her sleep better. And I just know the benefits of magnesium, and I just don't put a whole lot of like supplements in her. So this kind of just ensures that she's getting a little healthy dose of magnesium every night. We also have Arnica gel. This is Arnica, it's from Arnica, I believe. It's a homeopathic medicine. You can tell there's like barely anything left in this thing. This is really big for us when it's football season. As much as my boys love their bruises and to be all banged up, I don't, because I know it's not necessarily good for your body. So we just apply a little amount, just a thin layer of this Arnica gel onto whatever bruises, or if they feel like, you know, sometimes bruises can feel pretty painful. Like if you were just to bump into something, you're constantly like, oh, that's just feel good. This helps them recover and heal really quickly. Oh, I will also say that recently there's a little extension step that comes out of my car, and I kicked the crud out of it the other day. Right on the middle of my shin, I applied this, and I never ended up having a bruise. I thought for sure I was gonna have this massive, nasty bruise on the front of my shin. Never bruised after this, and there's just a little knot, and it's slowly healing and going away. All right, this stuff, if you know me at all personally, you have seen this. I have given you a sample. I have rubbed this on you. I love Deep Blue. This is very similar to Icy Hot or Tiger Balm, but I feel like so much better, works so much faster, and the lasting results is what is the game changer for me. So typically whenever you use something like a Tiger Balm, you feel the heat, you feel your muscles relax, and then like the next day you kind of feel like I'm tense again. This is crazy. The next day you feel like you had an injection or something. It is unreal. The ingredients are also so much better. This has essential oils in it. They come in 2 different ways. So this was the original that we have been using for the longest, which is in this tube, and you can squirt it out, but you have to put it all over your hands. And just like Icy Hot, you have to thoroughly wash your hands and your nails, because if you rub your eye, holy moly, you're gonna be in trouble. This one is so much better. This is a new product they released, and it is a stick. So you can just roll and not use your hands, which I'm so happy about because I'm constantly like putting this on the boys' shoulders, rubbing it on my shoulder, this shoulder in particularly, my elbow, and the boys' knees. So we have used this for a lot of things, but what has been the best, I would say, like we're the most grateful for, is one of our sons had major growing pains, knee pains. They were just they were so painful, and they lasted for so long, and we would continuously rub this on his knees. It was pretty much the only thing that gave him relief. So if you know anything about growing pains, it's right below I guess the tibia, or the top of your kneecap, and you can't do any cutting motions, even jumping, like anything just is excruciatingly painful for him. So we use this a lot. But I like to use this. If I'm not going to use the heating pad before I stretch them out, I'll rub this on just to get those muscles nice and warm, and then we'll stretch that way as well. I like to use it before I go on my runs for my hamstrings that get really tight, and like I said, my shoulder and my funky elbow. Okay, KT tape. There's also rock tape. I find both are great. Our physical therapist swears by one, another physical therapist will swear by another. But KT tape, I get the ones that are individual strips, and you strip them off like that. They come in so many different colors, which is fun. So you can actually coordinate with your school colors, or if it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you can get the pink. But this also comes with a pamphlet on exactly how to use them. But basically it's like a sticker. You just crack it in half, tear the sticker here, and then you'll peel it and stretch it along your body. Again, I don't want to give too many details because every single part of your body you're going to tape a little bit differently. Sometimes you pull it harder. This is very stretchy once you take the backing off. But yeah, growing pains, another thing. I feel like not a lot of people have experienced growing pains. I've heard people experience it, but until I saw my son and how much pain he was in, like, I've learned a lot about growing pains. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to further the discussion about growing pains, because we went through the ringer with them things. But yeah, there's ways to wrap your knees, ways to wrap your shoulders. I'm sure you've seen them on Michael Phelps, but they're not just for the pro athlete. Cody and I use it as well. Okay, last but not least, I believe this is last. There's some stuff that I didn't include that are in the blog post. I'm thinking I'm covering everything. I'm not really sure. There's just a lot that we use. But last but not least for this video anyways, we're going to talk about athletic tape. And we have so many different types because we've had so many different types of injuries. But like, we have this athletic tape that is really good for fingers. So you would just kind of rip off a strip, and you can tear it in half or cut it in half and wrap like fingers. So if you ever like dislocate a finger, or if you like popped a blood vessel in one and you just don't want to leave that finger exposed, you can tape the two together, and you feel a lot more secure in your hands because that finger is not just like hanging out in the wind. Oh my gosh. And then we also have like a more stretchy type of tape, which is really great for if you've ever like rolled your ankle or something and you need to just like wrap your ankle up to secure it so it's not, again, flopping around in the wind. Or if you need to keep gauze on, this is really, really awesome stuff. So we keep an array of different kind of athletic tapes. But again, we keep the stretchy ones and the firm ones for two different purposes. And also ace bandage, because this is another thing that if you want to keep your ice pack on and you want to wrap that on so the ice pack is really good and tight on you, or if you want to keep a secure joint, say your knee or your elbow, you can wrap it up really good like that. So I hope this video is helpful. I feel like it's really kind of random that we would have an actual designated spot for all of our rehab stuff. It sounds like we're just like very frail people, but it's just not the case. It's just over time, and especially as a personal trainer, I've had some stuff that are specifically for clients that I found, oh, it actually works really good for my son, or oh my gosh, I didn't know that I was going to experience plantar fasciitis. I had been helping so many clients over the years with plantar fasciitis, and then I experienced it myself, and it is awful. So we've just accumulated things over the years, and I wanted to share them with you because there might be some sort of a need that you come across, and you can be prepared with your recovery basket at home. I think that's going to do it for us today, you guys. Thank you for being here. If you made it this long, you are the real deal, and I love you for it. So I hope that you'll subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.